Originally, this talk was going to be something totally different, but as I sat with a bad attack of diverticulitis, vulnerable in a hospital bed for 4 days, my idea of what I was going to talk about changed too. I was angry, upset, totally confused after my hospital stay, and I've been dealing with vasculitis for 12 years now. I can't even imagine what it would be like if I didn't have the knowledge I had acquired over the years or a very vocal friend to speak up for me when I was feeling powerless during this recent hospital stay. First, my background. August 2006, I broke out in hives during a home remodel, and then I started coughing. The coughing never ended. My primary at the time told me I had anxiety and acid reflux, and I should go find a hobby. I answered this by throwing up in his outer office area from a coughing fit. I knew something was very wrong. I called an asthma doctor's office and got a same-day appointment with a doctor that I now refer to as my asthma god. He never gave up, and on April 1st, 2007, I was officially diagnosed with Church-Strauss syndrome, before it had its fancy new name of EGPA. The irony of that diagnosis date has always made me laugh, to be honest with you. I flew to Cleveland Clinic because I refused to believe I had anything wrong with me. They sadly confirmed my diagnosis. I was very angry. I may have cussed at a doctor during the time because there was no way I wanted to hear I had this illness. I thought I was supposed to be relieved by finding out a reason for all my symptoms, but instead, anger was my emotion of choice. I did the fun of Cytoxan, methotrexate, Imuron, Celsep, and, as he was telling you in the past, very high-dose prednisone. I was on multiple things at one time, and I still wasn't getting any better. In 2008, I attended my very first VF conference at the Mayo Clinic and heard doctors debating about Rituxan for ANCA-associated vasculitis. Dr. Specs was one of those doctors at the time. I fought my insurance company and was able to receive Rituxan off-label, and it was a game changer for me. I have never officially been in remission. I find the term to be totally overrated. I prefer to say I have quiet periods. I recently had my 46th dose of Rituxan, and I consider my CSS to be medically stable as long as I stay on all my medications, prednisone 5 milligrams, Celsep, Rituxan, and various others. My vasculitis is very well controlled. People keep telling me I had to get used to my new normal. I hate that saying, a new normal. It is the worst thing in the world. I wanted to go back to teaching and being a super mom. I was angry, and I thought my college degrees would now go to waste. I was not happy, and that unhappiness became toxic. All I wanted was my old life back. I did not want this great new normal. It took me 5 years to learn how to mourn my past self. I finally allowed myself to grieve so I could move forward in life. For some people, moving forward comes quickly. For me, it took 9 years, 9 very long, very angry years. My mistake was trying to get my old life back, feeling like if I wasn't exactly who I was before diagnosis, I would be a failure. This was a huge mistake. Chronic illness changes people. You will never be the same person you were before diagnosis, and sometimes it's not worth trying to be that person again. It's okay. You've grown in many ways that people will never understand. You have to allow yourself to grieve so you can move forward. You may want to know, why did I become involved with the VF? Why do I support them with such passion? The VF not only gave me the information about Rituxan, but they gave me the power to advocate for myself. They made me realize 11 years ago that I had to educate myself and I could not be a passive patient. I used to think that doctors had all the answers, that they went to medical school and I had not. But I came to realize a decade ago, EGPA and other types of vasculitis are just a paragraph or two, or maybe if you're lucky, a page or two with a really graphic picture in medical textbooks. I could not expect my doctor to know everything at that point. How could I expect my local doctors to be experts on a disease they may have never seen before, especially in the allotted 15 minutes they were given to see me in their office? I realized after attending my first multi-day symposium in 2008 that I needed to educate myself and my doctors in order to get the best possible care. I would seek out doctors who were experts in the field of vasculitis, or had other happy vasculitis patients, or were willing to take some time and educate themselves about my form of vasculitis. Some of my doctors were excellent right from the beginning. Others educated themselves and began to work as a partner with me in my healthcare. Some refused to learn or thought they knew everything and I should just sit quietly and never question a treatment or a procedure. Those just be a good patient type doctors, I dropped as quickly as I could. I learned to advocate for myself, and the VF helped me to do this by not only educating me, but also by having a list of experts in the field who could consult on my case. They offered these wonderful educational symposiums where I could network with other patients and we could share doctors and make recommendations to each other. I can't say this enough. Advocate for yourself. Bring somebody with you to your appointments. You are in a place of vulnerability. Let someone else be the bad cop. I may look all tough up here, but a few weeks ago, I needed a friend to stick up to a doctor for me. I became a much different person once the gown goes on and I'm no longer in control. Remember to take notes and ask questions. I actually had a hospitalist arrive in my hospital room and ask me if I had any special type of vasculitis. Yeah, I was shocked. It was crazy. Seriously, when I asked him about my rising eosinophils, because in EGPA we keep track of our eosinophils, and mine were becoming much higher than what they had been in many, many years. He told me all types of vasculitis have increased eosinophils, and it's perfectly normal. It just means we have the disease. There's nothing that can be done about it. I sat there in shock, and I mentally shut down. Luckily, the whole time, he never moved more than 2 feet into my room, so he exited as quickly as he appeared. I was so angry with myself after this. I didn't correct him. I just sat there and cried in my hospital bed. The next day, when he arrived in my room, I was ready for him. I actually said, "I don't bite. Come on in. Let's talk." I had a pad with a list of questions, and I wasn't letting him exit without answering them. After he answered them, I explained to him I never formally introduced myself. I explained that not only was I on the board of the Vasculitis Foundation, but I was also a patient advocate and willing to answer any questions he had about my EGPA or vasculitis in general. He started shifting his feet and slunk away. Day 3, he arrives in my room a different person. Suddenly he treated me as an educated person. It seemed he actually looked up EGPA on Google. Very proud of him. What can you learn from my experience? Number 1, educate yourself. You have taken that first step by being here today. You should all congratulate yourself by taking the time out of a Saturday and coming here. You have a rare illness. You cannot expect every doctor that you see to be an expert on it. You have to educate yourself on your own illness. This doesn't mean you will be telling your doctors what to do, but you will be working with them as a team. You have to respect your doctor and the knowledge that they have had, and they need to respect you as an educated patient. You have a responsibility to be honest with your doctor. Don't hide things. If you're trying some unconventional treatment, and we won't mention one of the big ones now that people are trying, they should know about it. Don't be scared to tell them. If you want honesty from your medical care team, then you need to be honest with them. It's a two-way street. This is not a quick illness. Vasculitis doesn't just go away. There is no magic pill. You are here for the long haul. So your relationships with your doctors and caregivers are a very important aspect in both your physical and mental well-being. Not every doctor is great for every patient. Even though another patient may love a doctor or they are the absolute expert in their field, they may not be the best one for you, and that's okay. You have choices. My current rheumatologist, after going over my test results and exams, lets me know what she's concerned about. She then asks me, what am I concerned about? And what I'd like to do about it. After listening to me, she tells me what she would like to do. And then we work together to come up with a plan. I appreciate the feeling that I have a real say in my medical care and choices. Sometimes I'm too sick and I just say, I don't know, just spin the wheel, let's see where it lands and go from there. She understands that at times, that I want to be told what to do, and she respects when I want to have more say in my care. Currently, this just 2 weeks ago, I had a top surgeon at a very good hospital tell me what he saw was my only option. I asked him questions, and he became very defensive and basically say, it's my way or no way. I cried. As you can tell, I cry a lot. I cried when I left his office. I cried in my car, and then the crying turned to anger. He never listened to me as the patient and my fears and my concerns. He may have been the best, but I realized he was not the best for me. I have since sought out other opinions, which is totally exhausting, and the wait for these opinions tends to take a long time. But when I do this recommended surgery, I want to make sure the surgeon understands I am part of the team and not just a body sitting in that bed. So my overall message is you need to get involved. You need to get involved in your own medical care. Pick your medical team with thoughtfulness. Make sure you have at least one go-to doctor who is leading your team. This may not necessarily be your rheumatologist. I have formed a very strong bond with my diagnosing asthma god, and he is my go-to doctor when I have strange questions or just need reassurance. Get involved with educating yourself about your illness. The VF has a very large library of webinars and talks. Go look at them, go through them, see what you can find. Read everything you can from research-based websites. And I need to repeat that, research-based websites, not somebody's dog's chiropractor is telling you what to do. Please look for the research-based websites. Ask questions. You will be surprised how many researchers will be willing to answer your questions about a particular article or study. Usually their email is at the bottom or their name and their institution. Just write them. It's amazing how they will answer you. Get involved with your life. Put yourself out there again. I don't know how many are newly diagnosed patients or have been diagnosed for a while. But wake up each morning and just put one foot in front of the other. Just keep moving forward, both mentally and physically. If I was given the opportunity to hide under my covers, I would. It would be so nice and comfortable and be a good time. But my children, when I got diagnosed, were ages 9, 12, and 14, and I was homeschooling 2 of them. My husband travels extensively with his job. My family lives on the other side of the country. I had no choice but to get up each morning, get the kids ready for their days, and just move forward. I'm almost grateful that I did not have a good support system. It made it so I just had to move forward. I couldn't rely on anyone else but myself. I'm a lifelong learner, and nothing was more devastating to me than after months of Cytoxan, I had lost my power to comprehend long technical materials, along with, I lost almost all my hair. Kind of shocking. But I adjusted. I now read shorter articles, snippets on the internet, and realize that I may never be able to go back to reading 300 pages a day, but I still keep challenging my mind and moving mentally forward. And hair's back, which is kind of nice. Your movement may be at a snail's pace, but it's movement. Don't be hard on yourself. You will have to adjust to any new limitations you may have. I need to rest more than I ever admit to anybody. Fatigue is a huge part of autoimmune conditions. I know I can work like a madwoman for a day, but then I need 2 days to rest. I schedule in my rest days. I actually have, after this conference, I have nothing scheduled for Monday or Tuesday. Those are my rest days, and I know that's what my body will need. I cannot teach in a classroom anymore with my germ-infested children due to being immune suppressed, but I found out I can teach adults and I can teach online. Get involved with the patient community and the Vasculitis Foundation. Some of you are brand new here. Some of you, this is the first time you've ever heard of the Vasculitis Foundation. Joyce, Ed, Whitney, Beth, they're all amazing people. Take some time to get to know them and see if any of your talents can be used for the greater good of the vasculitis community. New patients need to hear from veteran patients that everything will be okay. They need to talk through their fears and worries. Be that person that just listens. It's not always about giving advice. Sometimes people just need to talk to someone that has been through it too and truly understands their feelings. Be that listener to a newly diagnosed patient. Lastly, get involved with your own well-being. Being positive may be the hardest thing. I know all the self-help books tell us time and time again about being positive, but truthfully, it really does work. Find something positive even in the darkest circumstances. When my kids were in school, at dinner, I always asked them to tell me 3 positive things that happened to them each day. I wanted to teach them to focus on positive instead of wallowing in the negatives. And yes, things they would give me were like, well, I'm happy I wasn't totally the last person picked for volleyball. But we took it. Any little help works. I had to learn to actually do that learn to do that for myself after diagnosis. My examples are things like prednisone, sure to smooth out those facial age wrinkles. And wow, I no longer swell from mosquito bites when I'm on prednisone. I am not always a positive person. I allow myself to cry and be negative and self-hating, but I limit it and then I move on. I realize that this is my new life, and I am going to do my absolute best to be happy and have at least one positive experience each and every day. Today, I'm happy about being given this opportunity to share a little of myself with you. Thank you very much for listening.